Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to the market recap. I am Dan Hodgman. It is Thursday, April 29th. The month is coming to an end. Tomorrow will be our last day. That means next week, unemployment numbers are going to be coming out. That's going to be something we want to pay attention to. Earnings are still on the forefront. Apple, Facebook crushed it yesterday. We're seeing stock markets make those highs. S&P all-time high today. And then we had a little bit of a sell-off. And they sold off from pivotal locations, and they broke down to pivotal spots for us to look for that rebound or look for that next opportunity. So a lot of things going on there, and we'll dive into that here shortly. That's really been the main news. President Biden yesterday gave his 100-day address to Congress. Ford, great earnings. But the stock's taking a little bit of hit there, and Amazon coming this afternoon. What are they going to do? I got a feeling they're going to be positive. I know we talked about it a little bit yesterday with Amazon. Just about 20 minutes ago, I ordered more Amazon stuff to get sent to my house because, well, it's the easiest thing ever. I ordered it today. It'll be here tomorrow. It's pretty amazing how quick they are. So I'm sure we'll see that coming through here shortly. If you see something and I didn't catch it, make sure you guys drop it in the comments here just so we're sharing some of that information. That's kind of the news we've got going on. See here, we had crude oil continues on this trend to the upside. Looking for those weak points. That's what we want to be doing. We had a great one a little bit after the open. We broke down just slightly, came right to the overnight, an overnight swing high, not the high of the overnight. An overnight swing high, which is right at where yesterday's regular trading hour high was. Amazing how well that stuff works out for us, which actually came right down to yesterday's value area high. So we'll take a look at that here shortly. Like we said, equities, both S&P 500, I should say, made the new highs. Off those highs, we broke down a little bit. Right off the open, we retraced right back to settlement price. Amazing, right? We're looking for off the open. We're looking for a directional move back to settlement. If we're opening up away from that settlement price, did exactly that. Great opportunity there for us to pick up. Well, we broke around, let's just call it 42.10, and we broke right down to settlement price. Settlement price was 41.76, so a nice 35-point move there, a little bit less, 30-point move. Nasdaq rallies last night up to that 14,050 mark that we've talked about and broke right down to settlement price, moved right through settlement price to another level that we've talked about. I've had a few phone calls with people this week just about some of these Nasdaq levels that really have been playing out nicely. So we'll look at those here shortly. Gold, positive earnings, equities up, gold down, euro stays inside for the most part. Really a quiet day. Once equities opened, it kind of just rotated right back to settlement price. We're going to end here unchanged. And the 10-year note breaks down big with a big rally towards the end of the day here, or throughout the, I should say, most of the regular trading hours here today. But we broke down in the overnight session. So that market is still trending lower. We want to keep looking for some of those opportunities there. I want to say hello to everyone, and then we'll dive into these charts. I've got a sneeze on the tip of my nose right now, so if I all of a sudden just stop, apologies. Bill, good to see you. Norman got a second Moderna today. Hope to make some money now. Outstanding. All right, let's go ahead, take a look at these charts. And again, as always, we're starting with crude oil. Crude oil opened up this morning well above that 65 mark. This market continues to press higher. We broke down a little bit, and this is where we're going to be hesitant to catch the short, right? We're maintaining strong trend to the upside. Shorting a trending market is really difficult, so we want to look for those opportunities to get in on that trend. So for trending higher, we're looking for weak points in the market. We want to find it at points of invalidation. What are those points? Well, we have consolidation from the overnight, or a little bit of area where we saw some resistance right at yesterday's value area high here, and right by the swing high of yesterday. So we've kind of got a range to start looking for some opportunity when we get down to by the 64.55, down to about 64.35. Yes, 20-cent range, which is relatively reasonable because we know we can look for some opportunity that's going to present more than 40 cents return, right? Those are things that we want to be thinking about when we're entering into the market. If I'm going to risk 20 cents in crude oil, I need to see at least 40 cents in return to justify that trade. We want to keep that reward twice what our risk is. We broke right down, once again, to yesterday's value area high, giving us a great point of entry right down here at 64.32. We're only taking a few cents of risk in that trade to see great returns, and that's a trade you could have sat in for quite some time here today. Vince, good to see you as well. Next, S&P 500. So we opened up on our highs, and we say this all the time. The first trade we're thinking about, if we're opened up away from settlement price, return to settles. Close the gap off the open to settlement price. We made that move right away. It continued on down. It looks like we're getting some Amazon surges, sales surge 44% as it smashes earnings expectations. That's a headline we're seeing right now. Anyhow, S&P 500. So we should start to see some movement here, or in this evening into tomorrow. So S&P 500, we closed the gap to settlement price. Great opportunity, falling right back into that range we were in yesterday. Now, if we're caught the short, if we took the trade, that opening range to the close in the gap trade, if we took that trade, we had a nice opportunity. We could have walked away for the day. Now, what are we doing when the market looks at settlement price? We have one of two options. Settlement's either going to be a springboard, where it's going to come down, check, and recover, or it's going to be an accelerant. Well, it did not accelerate. Buyers came in extremely fast. We were having optimistic news. Great opportunity to then go ahead and say, I'm going to look for the long to see if I can get this thing right back up to the highs, and it came right to them. So great two-way trade here. Could have taken two trades, picked up a nice approximately 60 points on two trades. That's not a bad day in the S&P 500. Next, let's go ahead and look at the Nasdaq. So yesterday we drew a couple levels on our charts, and the first one we said up above. I'm off a little bit here. Whoops, we'll bring it back up. Here we go. 14,050. That was the high side of a trade that we were looking at. We were optimistic about this level. It has been creating opportunity. And again, remember, these are not finite. They're ranges. They're areas. We're looking to see how the market reacts as it approaches. Market opened up right there. We have great incentive to say we're at a pivotal price here. We can look to close the gap down to settlement price. Settlement price is down here at 13,892 quarter. So we're up at 50, and we can run that thing down a nice 160 points. That's a pretty great day, and we have another target below, another price that we were looking at yesterday, which happens to be today's value area low, 13,875. What an opportunity. What an opportunity for a trade, and then the market started to recover. You could have taken the long down below. I think the best trade here today was the short in the NQ, right down to settlement price. This is something I try and do as much as I possibly can. Show where to get in on these trades, how to utilize levels, right? Levels are a common thing that we discuss in trading. We want to look for opportunity, whether it's long or short. We can ask ourselves those questions. We can run through the checklist. If I'm long, where's my risk? Well, if we get long up here, we're looking to first wait to see this market accept above the price before we want to be long. But we can take that short off the open, and we can keep our stops relatively tight. We're not taking a ton of risk there. Next, let's look at the gold. Gold opened up. We saw equities starting to show the life prior to their open. So when gold opened up, we were off to the races. And then the equity started to break, took gold down with it. There was concerns and fears, and this market had a drastic move to the downside. Really difficult to take the short. And also, it's going to be difficult to catch the long down below. To me, just because we saw movement in this market, it's tough. I'm looking at yesterday's low. I'm thinking maybe there's some opportunity there. And maybe we could have taken the long as we started to recover. I would have probably been thinking, well, maybe I've got a short opportunity as I approach yesterday's value area low. There's a lot of things that we can run through, and we have to be conscious of that. There's going to be good trades that work for us, and there's going to be good trades that don't work for us. And as we approach levels, we continually treat them the same, and we react to them the same way, we can mitigate risk, and it's not going to be 100%, but more often than not, we know these levels have worked for us. Next, let's go ahead and look at the euro. Like I said, euro was relatively quiet. We opened up above settles. Rotated down to yesterday's value area high. Great opportunity. See, one works in one, doesn't work in the other. We rotate right down to value area high. Great opportunity for an entry with a very cheap risk on the trade. And we can look. We have great target up above. We can look to see this market rotate right back to settlement price, and it did exactly that. Took a little bit to get there, but definitely want to be cautious. Next, let's go ahead and look at the 10-year note, which had a hell of a volatile day here. We broke last night from the settlement price. We continued this trend lower, and notice how we're just continuously making new lows. This market is trending in the downward direction. This is trending lower. So our highs are continuously being lower. We continuously have lower highs. So this is reactive of a trending market. So now we have to start to frame this out because we're seeing some bigger moves in this market. We want to help ourselves try and get an idea of where we're looking to get into these markets. So we've got, and again, these are just kind of crudely drawn just to give us a little bit of an idea of a little bit of a channel to start to recognize that, hey, maybe we're recovering, maybe we're changing directions here. But we've continuously traded in this channel. We're going to continuously use this channel to look for some sort of opportunity. So we're still pressing higher. We've got some ideas up above. This overnight session, we've been continuously breaking down pretty heavy in the overnights. Overnight sells, overnight sell, rally during the regular hours. We did have a sell a couple days ago, rally during regular hours, sold overnight, rally during regular hours. Are we going to see another sell in the overnight? That's going to be the big question. So some good opportunity in these markets really across the board here. I hope you guys were able to take advantage of some of them. Vince, I was short early, but was scared to grab the long side trade at settlement price. It seemed like it was going to continue lower. Absolutely. And you know what? Recognize that. You know, it still moved through settlement a little bit. There were still a few points there, and that could be a lot of risk for some people, but great opportunity for short there and the NQ. Ed, Dan, NQ dropped all the way to settlement price, then back up. Thanks for the info. Absolutely, Ed. I'm a simpleton when it comes to looking at these markets. I want to keep things as simple as possible for myself. If I can use levels and I can continuously watch how these markets react around them, to me, that is an edge because I keep it simple. I define my levels, and I know exactly what I'm looking at when the market approaches. I'm just watching market reaction. If we're starting to hit that wall, I got no problem hopping into a trade. If we're starting to press through it, again, great opportunity to look for that trade. And you know what? If we get stopped out, we keep our risk tight. We're going to give ourselves chances for another trade or two or three. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 trades to finally catch that winner. And if we can keep our risk and our reward ratioed in a favor that works for us, we can take 2 to 3 losses and still walk away with a profitable day. Vince, that was to me that took the short on gold on the bounce, got stopped out. Right. You know, you think maybe it's going to continue. You find areas that it reacts at, and sometimes it doesn't work for us. So we take that stop, but, you know, Vince, you got the short in the S&P, so hopefully that helped your day out nicely. All right. Let's see. It is Thursday. Amazon sales surged 44%. Huge move there. Rates right now, relatively flat. The 30-year basically is unchanged right now. 10-year up 0.007. We got GameStop, $176 a share. We've got Tesla still down a little bit, continuing down, $677 a share. I believe they have like $2.5 billion in Bitcoin. Pretty wild. VIX, we saw the spike when we broke earlier, but we're back down in the 17s. We spiked a little bit above 18, almost to 19. We broke down to 17.5 is where we're at right now. Our Airbnb stock, still in the money, gave back a little bit here today, $177.68. And then lastly, our Bitcoin down a little bit today, $52,495 right now. Economic releases. So tomorrow's Friday. Personal income and outlays, 7:30 a.m. Central Time. That's going to be the big one. We got Chicago PMI tomorrow, 8:45 a.m. Central Time, and consumer sentiment at 9 a.m. Central Time. And then, as always, Baker Hughes rig count at noon. Earnings. So Amazon today, looking at tomorrow, ExxonMobil, Chevron, Charter Communications, Aon, Phillips 66. We're going to have a lot of oil ones coming in. Maybe that's going to have an effect on the crude market. Let's keep an eye there. Lastly, this date in history. Thought I had it pulled up. Pulling it back up. Yes, here it is. I've got one for us. 1916, the luxury car company Lamborghini is born. Don't we all dream of having one of those? So on that note, guys, I'm going to sign it out. John will be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Time with the market forecast. I hope you guys all have a spectacular weekend. It's looking gorgeous here in my town. 80 degrees and sunny. I'll be out on the water and trying to enjoy some beautiful weather. And awesome, Vince. Glad it was a profitable day there for you. So you guys all stay safe. Wash your hands. Trade smart and trade well.